Hey sweet friends, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be jam-packed full of Dollar Tree DIYs to get you super excited and motivated for the new year to come. So many great things to get a fresh start with and some really fun ideas that you're going to want to put to good use. Please leave me a big thumbs up and let's get started. Okay, so I have a couple of these leftover gold ones with the leaves. If you can't find these exact one with the leaves, any type of candlestick like this will work, whether you want to do the black one or the gold one. But I am pairing it with some of these really neat 5x7 acrylic sheets. And you just have to peel the protective layer off of the front and the back. And I'm going to be putting some pictures on here. Now, I feel like this project would have been even better if I would have really printed out photos somewhere or used photo paper. I just used some printer paper to be really fast, and it did make my photos a little bit see-through, but other than that, this turned out really neat. I just took some clear glue, put it down onto the acrylic piece, and then put my photo face down so it was nice and protected. And then using some pressed flowers, I went with more like a neutral theme, so I used some daisies as well as just some greenery and just stuck that to that clear glue, kind of overlapping the photo. And then I do go ahead and dip my brush in a little bit more clear glue and go over the top of them just to make sure nothing's going to flake off or lose anything. But this creates like a gorgeous little frame that I can stick on top of these candlesticks. My brother just got married, so the girls were all dressed up, so I took these photos just a couple of days ago, and they turned out so cute, so I knew these were the perfect photos. They were dressed in navy, so I feel like that lets the flowers like really pop. I took some needle nose pliers and just kind of rocked back and forth that little top piece to get rid of it, and then I could hot glue these little stems right onto the back of these photos. They're going to hold them up nice and tall, and I feel like it just makes it super cute. A lot of fun new outdoor decor pieces are hitting the Dollar Tree, including this solar lantern for $5. How gorgeous is this? It does not feel like cheap plastic. It actually has real glass and it is solar powered. So this is an incredible find. I scored this for $5. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this whenever I saw it in the store. You guys know I am obsessed with pressed flowers, and I'll tell you that I'll have some linked down below in the description box, but I find them on Amazon, but Walmart is starting to put out pressed flowers in the store as well, so check there in the crafting section. I don't feel like you're getting as great of a deal, but if you can't find them anywhere else, it's very convenient. Now, I had to try this out. I knew that I have been loving using the Elmer's clear glue. You can find this very inexpensive at different stores, even Walmart, so just add it to your delivery order or pickup order, and you can use it on so many things. So I am pouring a little bit of clear glue out on this lantern. It didn't even run through the edges. I tried to do just enough so that I could spread it out with a paintbrush and then put on these gorgeous pressed flowers. You could keep this like a neutral color if you wanted to, just use the greenery. They have different colors online for sale, but I feel like this was so incredible. If you can't find the pressed flowers or you just want to skip that because it is a little bit extra money, you can use stickers and use the clear coat over it. But I loved how these turned out. It makes it look so high-end and gorgeous for this spring and summer. Alright, so first up we are using this charger that has the gold rimming, and I found this round mirror with also like the gold trim around it, and I thought the golds matched so perfect, so I wanted to pair these together. Also, I am finding tons of new designs of fabric out at Dollar Tree right now, and they have tons of beautiful ones to pick from. Now, this is a fabric that I might not lean towards at the beginning, but I feel like it paired perfectly. If I step back and really think about it, it has tons of grays and greeneries and golds, which is really what I decorate a lot with, so I thought it would be fun to try on this. I start by using my favorite method, using Mod Podge on the back of this charger, and then really just smooth out the fabric, and then I don't apply more Mod Podge until it's completely dry because you don't want to trap in any Mod Podge or glue that you're using so there's not any puddles underneath and leaving white residue. But I go ahead, let it dry, cut the excess fabric off, and then do one more really thick layer of Mod Podge. You do not have to add this much. I just like to because it kind of seals it off. It makes the fabric more of a hard material and it's really easy to clean. This mirror does come with a little hanger on the back. I'm just going to pop that off with my pliers, and then I am using hot glue mostly because it's really quick, but you can use more of a long-term adhesive. Put this mirror right in the middle. It fits perfectly. All the colors just blend so effortlessly. I just love this so much. I think it's so cute. Would be cute set up in a bathroom or the kitchen, but will be really fun to display. I found these new taper candle holders brand new at the Dollar Tree. They're made of wood. They're really a nice high quality piece. So many things come to mind whenever I thought of projects I could make with these, but something I really wanted to do is I created like a spoon holder a few videos back, and I put some daisies around like some black paint that was on this croc, and it looks really cool. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing for this candlestick holder. I ended up gluing them together, so I put the two tops together, so it created like this sphere in the middle that was just begging to be decorated. So using some clear glue, I go ahead and just paint it on there, put some more of my favorite daisy pressed flowers. I always pick up my pressed flowers from Amazon. I'll try to link some down below. And then also some just little greenery pieces, and keeping it neutral. I feel like this is perfect for spring and summer. I love modern decor, but sometimes it can get a little bit cold and not cozy. So I feel like adding in these flowers make it a little bit more warming and cozy and more like my style decor. For these, you could put candles right on top of them, but I wanted more of like a larger landing place. So I decided to take a couple of these little ceramic plates. You could use these for ring dishes or something, but I painted them black and then gluing them right on top. And you don't have to just put candles on these. You could put plants. You could put, I even thought it would be fun to make like a soap holder if you put some kind of like Mod Podge to seal off the paint on the top. But these are really fun. They match my decor, but like I mentioned, just bringing in more like organic pieces makes it a little bit more cozy. Alright, so first thing, walking into Dollar Tree, I am seeing all of these colorful stools. They are $5, and so many fun things just come to mind whenever I see these in the store. Now, my store had colorful ones as well as white ones, but I wanted one to be black for a fun little plant stand. Now, I have been seeing other people share ones at their store that are black, so I'm just sharing with you all. My Dollar Tree doesn't always have everything. Sometimes I have to improvise, so I'm just going ahead and painting this, and honestly, if it was very shiny, I might have went ahead and went over it with this satin spray paint anyways. But to be able to throw this into a servingware video, I had a really fun idea. I picked up one of these black chargers at Dollar Tree, which hands down is one of my favorite pieces that Dollar Tree has. And I hot glued it actually to the top of this. You could skip the hot glue, just set it on there and then put my plant on top. But how cute is this for under $7 to create a fun plant stand that also matches like my modern home decor? Up next, out of the Dollar Tree Plus section, I'm picking up one of these $5 containers. Now, this says vase on the bottom, but it feels very hefty, kind of like a crock, something that you would set on your counter and hold spoons in. So that's what I thought of it as. So I wanted to dress this up. Kind of what inspired me was finding these gorgeous wooden spoons at the Dollar Tree. I thought these would be so perfect to put inside here. Actually, whenever I filmed the after shots of this, I forgot about those wooden spoons and just used the ones in my kitchen. But these are what initially inspired this decor piece. So for this, I wanted to tape off the top so that I could paint the bottom black. But I'm going to try to use my pressed flowers in a fun way to cover up that little line. I made a project in the last video where I showed how like uneven the painter's tape can make your line sometimes, and a fun way to cover that is actually use the pressed flowers and go all the way around it, and then you'll want to seal them in with some clear spray paint. So just using some Mod Podge. Now you can get this perfect and leave this as is if you just wanted to scratch off the line to make it perfect. but I thought it would be really fun, decorative, but kind of keeping a neutral theme if we glued or Mod Podged these flowers right over that line, and it just dresses it up so much. I'll have some pressed flowers linked down in the description box if you want to go look at the ones that I usually purchase, but this was just like a neutral pack that I had on hand, and I just put a little bit of Mod Podge down at a time and then stuck the flower where I wanted it and then went over it a little bit just to press down all the petals as flat as possible so that I'll be able to coat this and nothing will be sticking out. I let the Mod Podge dry for a couple of hours until you can't see it anymore, and then took this outside and just lightly spritzed over this clear, let it dry, and then you can see how gorgeous it is. I feel like it just really dresses it up rather than just looking paint dipped, but bringing in the greenery and the florals, it just warms it up. Perfect for a little kitchen decor. I have been sharing these tiny little flowers in my videos all month, and I just feel like there's so many things you can do with them. They add so much color. I wanted to share with you all how you take the clear glue and turn it into fake water. And I've done this in the past where I just filled up the jar with the glue and it stayed kind of tacky. I couldn't get it to dry 100%, but I learned a hack and I think it makes it look more decorative. If you put some rocks down in the bottom and then pour the glue over it, it's not going to be so much of a thick layer of glue that won't dry, but the rocks really fill it in, and then the small amount of glue surrounding the rocks will dry a lot easier. So for this, I just poured the glue on top of the rocks inside of one of my favorite Dollar Tree containers. I love this wide vase. It's, I think, $3 in the plus section. And then using some of these tiny little purple flowers mixed with some white ones as well as some little lilac stems, arranged a beautiful bouquet. I got tired of putting them in there one by one, so I just kind of stuffed them in there and then started moving them around. And I feel like this is such a fun way to make a gorgeous bouquet or arrangement. I know if you pick them up at the store and they have that little bit of fake water in the bottom, usually made with resin, it makes it so expensive. So this is a budget-friendly way to get the faux water line without spending a lot of money. Okay, I had to share with you all a really fun idea. So you could use any color charger that you want. I decided to go with this black one. It just reminds me of like high-end decor. It matches my kitchen, so it just kind of ties everything together. But I wanted to create some really fun spackling flowers to put on here. Now, I originally thought that I was going to do flowers, but I ended up going with more of like a vine design. I looked up a pattern on Pinterest, just like an image I liked, and kind of looked at it as I drew. But if you don't trust yourself, you can use a little piece of chalk, and kind of draw out your image that you want. I am using a little bit of water with the spackling to kind of water it down a little bit to get an icing consistency. And after I cut it, I do test it. If it has too much pressure, the lines will get a little bit wiggly, so I cut it the hole a little bit bigger. And then I'm just playing around here, like I said, looking at that Pinterest image. I should have shared it with you guys. I just forgot, it was just setting off camera, but just pulled up like a vine or something to look at so I could see how the leaves were laying on the stem, and it looked a little bit more realistic. But anything that you do here would be really fun. I thought like a daisy shape would be really cute here, but just piping out the design that I wanted, I put it into a Wilton icing bag, but Dollar Tree does have icing bags out a lot of the times. Pipe some really fun little dots on here, and then I just feel like it needed a little bit more of an artsy look to it, so it didn't look like the spackling was out of place. So I dipped a small little paintbrush in some water and kind of pulled the spackling to the center. It filled in the leaves, gives it some more texture, and just makes it look a little bit more artistic. I really love how this turned out. This gets me so excited to create some more wall art using this method, so definitely be looking for that soon because I'm absolutely obsessed. I feel like these mirrors in particular are going to be selling out like crazy. They are just made really well. They're new to me. I haven't seen this style before with the actual mirrors around the edges. They are high quality and they have like a good backing to them and hanging system. So just you could hang these on the wall doing nothing to them and they would look incredible. But I want to share with you all a couple of different ways to DIY these and make these into gorgeous decor pieces. The first thing to do is to hang them in a set of 3 with a rope hanging. I love this method. It's so easy to do. All you're doing is hot gluing a piece of rope. You don't even have to cut the rope until you get done, but just glue it onto the edges. Leave some give at the top so you can hang it with a nail, and then leave some at the bottom so you can tie some little knots at the bottom and unravel it a little bit for a decorative look. I tried to space mine out very carefully, so I used some paint bottles just to hold them in place so that both of these are going to be spaced out very even. But just continue to do this to all 3 mirrors and then it is ready to go. But this takes no time at all and it's one of my favorite things hanging in the bathroom. I feel like it just makes such a bigger impact and looks so much better hanging up whenever you make Dollar Tree pieces like bigger, hang them in multiples. It just makes like a bigger statement. So I feel like this looks so gorgeous. I hung it behind the door. It adds like character back there and a little bit of extra light's going to bounce from behind the door, but I think it turned out really good. As for the second idea, I was going to use E6000, but this one actually dried up and I tried to stick a needle in it, tried to cut the end off of it, and it was really dried up. So I end up just using hot glue again, but once again, trade it out for your favorite adhesive. But I am just gluing 3 of these together for the top, 3 of them together for the bottom, and then attach them and creating like a large window like mirror to style in my bathroom, especially if you have like an entryway table or a blank space where you need a larger piece of decor. This is so inexpensive, but going to really bring in extra lighting and just be useful as well. So I love creating these, very simple to throw together. I did flip this over and go ahead and add some glue just to resecure it in the back. And then I am just styling this on top of my countertops, but I feel like it looks so good. Definitely something you would pay more than $6 for at the store. Dollar Tree has not disappointed the last few years putting out these different style candle holders. They always are switching it up. I found these ones that have a ring with a small candle holder on the top to hold like a taper candle. I am pairing it with some of these decorative accent balls that Dollar Tree has out right now. I found it in a couple of different color blues, a gray, and this wood one, which was my favorite, as well as the white. And they all have the same little design on there. But if you actually pick up these ring candle holders and you pop them in there, some of them fit a little bit tighter, so you might want to test this out in the store, but it adds a whole new look to it. I love this so much. I created a black version as well as using the gold. So let me know in the comments down below after you see how these are styled. Which one do you like, the gold version or the black version better? So if you see these decorative balls or wooden spheres, as they say on the box, pick up the ones that you love the best. So many ways to use these. Another way to incorporate them into a fun candle holder design is to actually put them in between these glass candle holders. I know these are a staple item out at Dollar Tree. I can find them at like every single store. So I go ahead and use some of my mineral colored chalk paint. It actually works really great on glass if you let it cure overnight. And I ended up doing 2 coats of this, letting it completely dry, and then sanding off a little bit so they don't look perfect perfectly painted. They have a little bit of distress to them, which actually matches the ball itself because these are distressed and look a little bit weathered. So I just hot glue the ball into place, and then as straight as possible, just hot glue another one upside down right on top, and this is going to hold anything flat that you could find. I ended up going with one of these large jar lids and painting it the coordinating color, just the mineral color chalk paint, letting it dry, and then these are going to hold some larger candles and look really high end. I actually picked up these candles and shared them in the last video. I'll have that link down below if you're interested, but they actually slide out of this for whatever reason. This plastic was damaged and my hot glue, the end of my hot glue gun touched it. So I just popped the plastic off and was able to use them. I feel like it looks so nice and like something you would have purchased from the store. Layering artwork has always been one of my favorite techniques, just getting artwork to stand out a little bit more. These black canvases work really great to add more depth to your canvases and give it more presence without just being hung alone. So I love to actually apply the canvas to the darker canvas. So I go ahead and use just a razor blade or utility knife and cut the canvas off of the frame and then just glue it onto the canvas. I didn't worry about it getting straight or anything. Sometimes I do if that's all I'm going to do, but I had a really fun idea to use my new gold foil that I've been loving using in the last couple of videos and actually putting it around this canvas. This is really going to make it pop, bring out those gold features that's on the vase in this artwork, and just make it a lot more pretty in my opinion. So I do take just some Dollar Tree Mod Podge, that's how I'm attaching it to the canvas, and then just start dabbing some around the edges. I purchased these gold foil sheets off of Amazon. I'll have them linked down below, but I'm still learning how to use them. Sometimes people want to use an adhesive that you can paint, let it get a little bit tacky, and then add them. I'm just going all in. Like I said, I might try some different techniques later on, but for now, I just applied some Mod Podge to the edge of this canvas because I want the gold to go in between the contrast of the black and the white, and then going to crumble up one of these sheets and then just take a soft brush and apply it to the adhesive, let it dry. Well, you're supposed to let it dry. I started like sealing it over before it was dry, so my gold pieces did move around a little bit, but I didn't mind. I still feel like it looks so good. This looks so intentional and looks like you'd have purchased it this way. I put a few little golden pieces around the edges so it wasn't just in a perfect border, but I thought this was so eye-catching and beautiful. Such a fun way to add that extra pop of gold, but make it look really intentional. And then now we can seal it off. I tried to drag it to the edge and you can see that it is moving a little bit of the golden sheets. So I am trying to just apply it to the gold and then do the black part separate. Anyways, I still feel like it turned out really cute. I decided not to paint over the design itself so it would still have its little shimmery effect, but I feel like this is so cute. You'll have to let me know if you like it down in the comments below. Alright, so I know that bows are huge this year. Everyone's talking about bows. If you go to TJ Maxx, every kind of glass or dish has a bow on it right now, which is funny because I used to add bows to everything on my channel and I've kind of slowed down, but now it's like a really trendy thing. So I wanted to share with you all, I picked up this mold at Hobby Lobby. It was in the soap making aisle, so they had lots of different ones to pick from, some floral ones as well as just the original soap bar molds, but I feel like this bow one was perfect, so I am filling it up with some hot glue that's going to give me that beautiful bow shape. Now hot glue isn't perfect, it does get a few little bubbles in it, so I try to make sure I tap it as hard as I can on the table to make sure that all the bubbles will float to the back of the bow. But for these, I wanted to create a set of pink bows on white candlestick holders, so take taking those same wood ones, I give them 2 coats of white paint, and then after I pop the bows out, you can cut away the little excess pieces. I've also used sandpaper to kind of flatten the back, but paint these whatever color that you like, and then just hot glue them directly on the candlestick holders. I did paint my candlesticks with chalk paint, but I do wish I would have spray painted them just to get a better finish. We've just been having a lot of bad weather, and it is so windy here that it's hard to spray paint anything right now. But I know that you also can spray paint the hot glue itself, but these turned out super cute, the exact same style that you're seeing at TJ Maxx and Home Goods if you're wanting that bow look. And then I go ahead and make them in another color, so you'll have to let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite. So I know pink isn't for everyone, but if you want more of like neutral or more modern color, do the same thing, except this time I'm leaving the candlestick holders black, which is really easy to do. You don't even have to paint them. And then painting my little bows with this acrylic gold paint. Now, I did have to do several coats of this. I know gold paint is a little bit thin, so once again, spray paint would work really nicely here. But after that dried, I just pop them onto these. These are so quick. You can make these in 5 minutes or less, but I love that little hack of filling up any kind of mold that you can find with hot glue, because it's so inexpensive and easy to do, and you're not having to wait with like the resin to let it cure or anything. I just popped a couple of candlesticks in here and they're ready to display. For this next project, you'll need 2 canvases that look the same or that at least coordinate well with each other, but I just love using 2 of the same canvases and then putting it in one area. It makes it have like a more like impact on this space and fill up that space. So all I'm doing is taking this canvas and hot gluing this rope all the way around it. Now Dollar Tree puts out 2 different styles of rope. One is more like loose and really like has the extra like fuzz coming off of it, or the rope strands, threads, hairs coming off of it, but this one is a little bit more tightly twisted, and it's smaller. So I feel like it looks a lot better whenever you do projects. You always can take a lighter and kind of singe off the little hairs off of it if you don't like how it looks, but this one just comes like a little bit more tidier looking. So I wrap the canvas, put a little loop at the top, and then for the other side you just want to wrap it around a couple of times just to hide the ends of it, and this makes the perfect little hanger. You don't have to worry about hanging these up. You could literally push a little thumbtack into the wall, but these look so cute like hung on top of each other. You could do a set of 2 or a set of 3. I always love how this turns out. I was so impressed with these candle holders. They are the perfect shape. I know so many times we take a regular candle holder stick or a candlestick and put under a container, but this one actually like looks really good how it gets bigger at the bottom and smaller at the top. So I am pairing these with 2 of these larger vases or candle holders that I found at Dollar Tree. Now these are in the Dollar Tree Plus section, and I did pay $3 each, but this is going to make it look so much more high-end than using a smaller glass. So the first thing I knew I wanted to do was actually paint the bottom black to make this look like it actually goes together and it's not just clear. So I love to take my painter's tape and put a row of it at the bottom, and then I use that as a spacer and then wrap it around the top. So you do have to try to work with it a little bit to get it to go around the vase, but after you get the top piece in place, then you just pull away that first little layer that's just kind of being used as a spacer, and you can paint this. But then I'm taking some black chalk paint and just painting this, letting it completely dry, and then doing a second coat. And I know a lot of people worry about paint scratching off of glass, but when you use like a thick chalk paint, if you do let it completely cure overnight, it seems to last really good for me. These are pieces that I'm going to be using in my bookshelves or bookcases by the fireplace, but I feel like these look so good. They look paint dipped, it makes them look higher end, and then they're ready to put on that candle holder. Now this is going to be a set that I'm going to set together, so one of them I'm just putting on the candle holder, But after I pulled my paint off, the paint wasn't 100% perfect. It was on one, and I would have used that one as is. But the second one, it had a couple of little flaws where I didn't get it perfectly straight. So my perfect secret to cover that up is just to take any ribbon. This is like a gorgeous satin velvety ribbon that has two different like textures on it. So I think it looks really high end, really fun. Just glue that over it. No one's ever gonna know. And then just use your favorite adhesive here. I'm just opting for hot glue to be really quick. I do re-secure it with a little bit more hot glue around the edges. And then these are ready to go. You could pour your own wax in here. I decided to use these candles that I found at Dollar Tree. They're $1.25 for these luminescent candles. They already have the little batteries in there, so you don't even have to worry about popping any batteries in there. And these are one of my favorite. I feel like they look so nice. I know I did a video with larger candles, and I'll put that link down below, but these work perfect for the smaller containers.